Go the other ones.
Nobody else is on now.
Tony.
We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Everyone first. Roll call, please.
Mayor Anderson.
Here.
Troy Boone.
Here.
Gerald Delaney.
Here.
Troy Doden. Art Schott.
Here.
Teresa Sweden. Here. And Mike Tiedemann.
Here. Agenda was sent out. Art would like to add under number 6 a brief parks update. Are there any other changes to the agenda or additions, modifications? Hearing none, is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
Doing so moves to adopt the agenda as amended.
Second. Motion by Delaney and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is adopted. Meeting minutes for January 19th were sent out on Friday afternoon. Is there a motion to approve the January 19th minutes?
Who moves to adopt said minutes?
Doing a second.
Motion by moved and seconded to approve the January 19th, 2021 minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's approved. Public hearings, none. Visitors to be heard, Scott Klungstedt, Beresford Baseball Softball Association.
I just wanted to talk to you guys quick. We have our final quote number. This is what turf would be. Or it could be this color, but that thickness. It's hard to compare colors, but. So the final quote came in at, what's the next page? $114,921 and 90 cents. So we're down quite a bit from where we started. Deposit 50% is due, would be due when we ordered the turf. 25% upon arrival of the contractor's crew, and then 25% upon completion. The 114 includes them removing all of our current existing acre line, which we moved to the 2 north fields and maybe the south field, depending on how much we have. And so here, dig down 6 inches. We're guessing that there's 6 inches of acre line. If he hits dirt, he's just gonna go like 3 inches, see where we're at, and then go another 3. Which Greg figures would probably be the equivalent of probably 3 truckloads of acre line, which is like $15,000 of acre line that we move into our other 2 fields, roughly, somewhere around there. So they would do all the removal, then they would do all of the packing of the underlayment, and then the installation of the turf as well. Approximately 2 weeks, depending on the weather, and that does include $5,000 to add additional drainage under the infield as well. So it would drain additionally as well. I know Greg is talking a little bit of different ways to do to connect the drainage from the field, but and then briefly with Doug over at First Dakota earlier today as well. So our loan amount would be $70,000. Term right now is 5 years, amortization 10 years. Payments would just be semi-annual. Interest rate at 3% fixed. 0 loan fee, contingent upon guarantee from the city. And he said if it's not paid off in 5 years, we can extend it for another 2, 3 if we need to. Our goal would be to pay it off in that 5. They said we have to go 5 to get the 3%. So they said extending it's not an issue either. So. Questions?
You're gonna go with this color?
I think we're gonna go with the darker one.
This color?
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, we could mix the 2. I mean, the mound and home plate could be the darker, and the base pass could be the lighter as well. I know the white, like the foul ball chalk lines, would stand out more compared to the darker. But we have the option between the 2. Humboldt is going with the more gold color, and I think Baltic, is going with the more gold color. So we have the option of either 2. So I guess we really haven't talked about which color. We just got the gold sample yesterday, so. So yeah, either one. If we wanted to go really custom, we could have purple or silver too, but.
For an extra,
It is, the gold's a custom color and it's the same price.
Really?
But it would just take longer.
Think red, Mike?
yeah.
Bright red.
So basically, it would be the base pass, the skinned area, so the entire area between first and third. The home plate circle, the pitcher's mound. There'll be a green turf collar around the pitcher's mound, and then a teardrop in front of the pitcher's mound. So like where Nathan stands to throw batting practice, that would have turf on it, so he's not tearing up the grass in front of the mound, which usually happens during batting practice. And then it would be turf from our dugouts up to the home plate circle as well. So the walk-ups would be turf as well for the 114. Shooting for mid-April as long as the weather's good and the frost is out enough that you can go down those 6 inches. We would just hold games over in Alcester while our field can't be used.
So basically, Scott, what you're looking for tonight is us as a council to approve
Being the
co-signer
Yeah,
for the loan.
yeah. Our ComEd board already approved moving forward with the project, so they just, the loan aspect can come to you guys.
Didn't we already do that?
I thought we just had asked Scott to go and,
To get more details on the loan, to actually get like the percent, what the interest rate would be and that type of stuff, so.
I haven't talked to Doug at First Dakota to see exactly what the terms they want from the city's hands on that obligation. I just told Scott beforehand if we had to, we could structure it so it was leased to the BPRCE so they can do the improvement, and then their lease payment would be the equivalent of the loan payment or something. But we'll work that out with Doug and make sure it's in compliance with state law then, so.
So then, do we need to do anything as a council, because you're gonna end up,
We'll do, I think you can approve, if you tell him to go ahead, then we can get the paperwork ready for the next meeting. I think he's just looking for the go-ahead probably.
Yeah.
Would we vote on that, or is that just a?
I think you'd say you'd vote to approve it and then come back to formalize the, loan or lease or whatever the terms are.
so you want a motion for.
To approve
to
the
approve
project,
the-
and then we'll come back and finalize the formal paperwork to do it,
a
so.
motion to approve the project?
the project loan. Billy makes a motion to approve the baseball field upgrade for signing the loan with PRCE.
Second.
I was gonna get the amount.
Go ahead.
For the amount of $114,000.
The loan would be 70.
Oh, the loan's for 70,
The loan's
okay. For the amount of 70,000.
Second.
Motion by.
With 3% interest, is that correct?
Motion by Delaney, seconded to approve moving forward with the baseball field upgrade, with the city co-signing a loan in the amount of $70,000. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Move forward. Thanks, Scott.
Do you guys have a preference between gold or clay? I'm going to get as many opinions as I can get. I have a hard time since there's such different turf to begin with, so just lines, but.
I agree with you, I think the white would look a lot better on there. So you guys, do those fade in the sun?
They said the fade guarantees 10 years, 12 years, something like that. I was I thought I had this found, but we need to find a place to store the turf indoors until it's installed. And I thought I was gonna be able to get to Dakota Metals. Bill thought I could get to Dakota Metals, and now it sounds like it's being sold. So we can't leave it at Dakota Metals. So if anybody knows like a place we can store the turf inside until mid-April, just let me know.
When is it being delivered?
It'll probably be 3 weeks after we order it. So if we order it next week, by the end of February, so for a month and a half.
Like how much room are you talking you need?
It will be 18, 15-foot rolls. So in 15 feet, not gonna be super thick. And I thought maybe, I don't know who owns the empty part of the strip mall, the big part?
That is.
There's go.
Of the.
No, the one that Subway's and the
El Suivo owns it, but I've been told there's business already going in there, committed to coming, so.
Yeah, they're doing
You can let it in your garage.
But no, so I'm just working on that. Greg thought we might be able to use the back of the cart shed, but he didn't know if there'd be enough room in there or not. We'll get it figured out.
How about the football field where they have the concessions, picnic tables?
We may be going there.
That would be empty, not used,
That would work.
maybe,
I can talk to Brian about that.
plus track, they're intending to use it for track or something, but.
So there's a locker room in the fall for cross country. That's track's locker room. They'll find a place. That was it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Parks update,
I talked to Greg from the Parks and Pool, golf course. I'm on the Parks Committee in the pool. And he was just talking in general about some remodeling, some ideas about the bandstand, about the work shed, and a couple other things. So I just wanted to bring it up that he's working on some ideas to maybe remodel some of the bandstand brickwork and maybe move the shed from the park somewhere else. But he's coming up with some ideas, and he's gonna have a meeting with the committee from the parks and try to work something out this spring. Just wanted to bring it up. That was it.
thank you. Department head report, Wayne Johnson. Can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Back in the January 4th meeting, we discussed how the state COVID funding to reimburse or pay for the employees who are out for COVID, we got reimbursed. And at that time, we had talked about tax credits that were available to the city until March 31st. Well, it has been brought to our attention that government employers cannot receive tax credit for providing leave wages. And so tonight I'd like to ask council some direction on what we want to do. I did send you an email with the sick leave donation policy, which I think would be a great asset to put back into place for employees that are out with COVID. However, there is a line in there that says the employee that is donating or receiving sick time must be a full-time employee for a minimum of 1 year to be eligible for this policy. But I'm kind of feeling that it's going to be our newer employees that are going to need this more than our older, or not older, but our employees that have enough sick time and vacation time accrued. Unless the council wants to pay the employee.
I did have a call with Elaine and Allison today. We worked through, obviously, anybody to this point that we paid under our prior understanding. I feel, and chime in if you want, but that we just leave it as it is. But going forward, the girls would like some direction on, do we as a city, pay them to be gone, or do we make them take the paid sick time or vacation time to be gone during COVID?
I just got one question on the sick time. You can move the sick time from full-time employees to other employees, right? If someone's short on time.
That's what the Elaine sent out today was the donation policy, but there would have to be some tweaking in there because it only allows full-time people who have been here for a length of time.
Well, how much time would it take to tweak it? I mean, I'm wondering.
Well, if we decide to allow that to happen, then I think that's just a matter of verbiage being changed. But they just want some direction from us on what do we want to allow as the city.
I don't see nothing wrong with the sick time.
So you're saying you want to have the employee use their sick time, and then we would implement the donation policy.
Right, and if they were short on sick time, that they could get it from another employee, they could give it to them no matter how long they've been here. So it'd be fair to everybody if somebody needed some extra time.
Troy, what do you think?
I think they should use their sick time for COVID. If they run out of sick time, and it is a COVID reason that they're gone, not just they don't feel good, they're in quarantine, or they've tested positive for COVID, then I think the city should just pay it.
But then we're gonna have a situation where we have people who've been here for less than a year have, say, a day of sick time built up, but you've got people who've been here for 20 years and have weeks of sick time. So you're gonna,
no one was expecting a pandemic.
I know, but that's where we just need to come up with a plan, because it really isn't fair that those long-term people should have to use all of their sick time when a person that's only been here for a year gets just prepaid, so to say.
Right.
I mean, if we as a city are just going to pay up to a certain amount, then obviously I feel like there needs to be some guidelines that they have to provide documentation. It's not going to just be, I don't feel good, I'm going to stay home to protect everybody type deal. Gerald?
I'm a hard house.
I know.
I wouldn't pay them. I'm sorry. I guess use their vacation time, and after that.
Would you be okay with modifying and putting into place this?
So
Donated
if
sick
somebody
time.
wants to donate sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with modifying that, but I don't feel that we gotta, that's just me. I don't feel that we gotta step up and pay them. I'm sorry that you've only been here for a year or less or whatever, you don't have enough time. That's just what I think.
Pay the quality park to make us use their vacation.
Troy's got something to say, I think.
I think we're dealing with a public health pandemic issue. We want our employees to be honest. If they're not feeling well, we want them to stay at home, get tested, not come to work and spread it to anybody else. I think if an employee tests positive, I would be okay with paying them COVID outside of their normal sick leave. I'd be giving them a COVID leave or whatever for, I think it's 10 days now from when you first start showing symptoms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they think they're sick and they go home, they stay home sick, they go get tested, they're not positive for COVID, then they got to use sick leave. They're positive for COVID. I think we give them the paid time off so that they're honest and they're not coming to work and spreading it to the rest of the staff.
What about family members?
What's that?
What about if family members are tested positive and you're home watching them? Would you get
Since we get COVID through the stimulus package, I think that if we pay for the employees' time, if they're positive, I think that's about the limit. I'd like to say we could do it for anybody in the house, but we can make arrangements for people to work too. some of our guys don't work side by side with someone during the day. And if they had an exposure, what are they doing now when they have an exposure? They're not sitting at home. They're coming to work and wearing their mask. And if they don't have any symptoms, they're coming to work, right? Just like we've been doing at the school all year until this week. You know, if you have an exposure, you monitor for symptoms, you wear a mask, you come to work. But if you have symptoms, you go home.
Elaine, what are you hearing from other cities similar to Beresford?
We put a message out on the finance officers listserv just asking other cities what they're doing, and we didn't get any responses back. So we don't think anyone is covering it. It's using your own sick time and vacation time.
What is the state doing, Troy?
The state, I'm not sure now whether we're doing administrative leave or not still. I think we are. Where if you're quarantined or you test positive, then you're on administrative leave and the state pays it. But I think if you test, I'm not sure 100%, but that's the way we were doing it up until January 1.
I think they just changed some of the rules that we instituted, some of the expanded sick leave for COVID. On different levels, maybe not the state.
Right. I still think that if they can use sick leave, they should. If they're out of sick leave, I think the city should pay it. I don't think we're going to have that much. I think they need to have it documented that the doctor that they went in, tested positive, or from the Department of Health, that they're under the Department of Health quarantine, not just their own quarantine. And with those two things, I think the city should pay it. It's not going to be that much.
You know, for my Allison and Elaine today, we've had 5 in the month of January. Now with what's going on in our school and around town, just want to put out there that
Could be a lot more.
could potentially be a lot more. And even if we were to cut this off on March 31st, like the federal tax credits are, and we got 2 months, that could be 20 people.
Yeah, but we're not going to have 20 people that need sick leave.
Good.
We've already had
Are we
five.
good?
I do think we need to keep it to the 10 days. I mean, if you already used 10 days in 2020, then you don't get it again.
Throwing this out there, to me, I think this should be, a proposal should be drafted, and brought to the council outlining all of the what ifs. Because right now we're truly shooting from the hip.
Right.
You brought up something about a family member, how is that going to be integrated into this?
You want to make a motion, I can table it till the next meeting.
Well, I think they're going to need an answer.
I was gonna say, the thing is, they're probably
going to need an answer like tomorrow.
Yeah. We need to know to tell that employee that gets called tomorrow and has to be out, are you gonna have to take sick leave or are you gonna get paid for 10 days?
Okay, I mean, they have to have sick leave, they have to take sick leave, right?
You gotta take their sick leave first.
Okay, so that's what people want, is that you have to take your sick leave. Okay. Which I think that's whatever, like, most towns are doing now, is that.
Sick leave for yourself or your family members because you have to take care of them, either or, you could use a sick leave, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Again, I'm just throwing this out here, I think if the goal is to expand that to include something other than the employee using sick leave, a whole outline of how that's gonna work should be brought forward. So,
You're saying if the city was going to compensate out of our pocket.
correct,
For 10 days. Okay.
because otherwise we would what if that for 3 hours here and probably not catch all the scenarios. And it would create an administrative nightmare for City Hall, Jerry, everybody. Even if we had to call a special meeting or something, if we can't wait too long, I think we should have a policy in front of us if it was that important.
I guess I would propose that we have them take their sick leave, we implement this revised sick leave donation policy. And if it comes to a situation where we need to have a special meeting to address, then we can, but I'm with Gerald and making them use their sick time and our, I just am not sure that I'm
So do we need a motion on that?
with paying them if they.
Well, that's where it gets dicey, because am I sick? Am I quarantining myself? Do I have a Department of Health? Did the school call me? Am I son or daughter?
Right.
Spouse? What do you think, Jerry?
We can try to draw something out, Tom, you've been listening good over here. Yeah.
I mean, it's what Teresa's suggesting is just modify the sick bank to say, you don't have to be here, you just take that provision away, but so that someone that's been here 6 months, if COVID doesn't have 10 days of sick leave, someone would want to donate 4 days so they didn't have to go without pay. Maybe that solves 99% of it. If something else comes about, you gotta deal with it. But someone doesn't have any sick leave.
They could only borrow up to that 10 days though, I think.
Yeah.
And then,
They can borrow from one person up to, I believe it's 10 days, isn't it?
well, I just don't want there to, we're all gonna be disadvantaged at this sometime, unfortunately.
So would we need to vote to modify this policy, or is that just an administrative change?
I think you'd have to, if you're gonna eliminate the 1 year minimum. Other than that, it looks like it's pretty well left up to the administrator.
Is the goal to be able to donate or receive leave for part-time employees also?
Full-time is what's on here.
That's what I'm saying, is the request to cover part-time permanent employees as well?
Oh, I don't know.
Elaine?
It probably would be good because we did have someone, a part-time employee that was out in the beginning of January.
But do our part-timers get paid sick leave?
No,
So then
No point then.
yeah.
Okay.
You gotta be able to donate it to be able to take it. It might be.
So the council would need to consider in paragraph 2 striking for a minimum of 1 year, and just having it say must be a full-time employee to be eligible for the policy. Correct. That's the first issue, and the second issue is expanding it to something more, and I think that's where it's a little bit.
Yeah, I will not cross that until we.
Yeah, I think that's opening up. So do you want to make a motion?
So I'm gonna make a motion that starting February 1st, employees will be required to use paid sick time to cover COVID leave. Do you want a separate motion for the donation policy? Okay, and we will implement the donation sick time leave policy with the modification taking out that employee must be employed for 1 year or more.
I'll second.
And the policy does say that the employee who's going to receive it must have expended all of their sick and vacation.
So
So
they have to use their own.
in order to utilize the bank or the donation from another employee, they would have had to exhaust all of their sick and vacation, so. That's under number 3.
Joe, did you second that?
I did.
Okay. So motion by Stagg and seconded, authorizing employees to use sick leave and striking the words, for a minimum of 1 year, right? So it would say it must be a full-time employee to be eligible for this policy. Correct. From the sick leave donation policy. Any further discussion?
So we're saying they have to exhaust their sick leave and their annual leave before they can do that.
That's what the policy is now. For any sick leave.
The sick leave and vacation leave.
And number 3, the recipient employee must have depleted all paid leave, including sick and vacation.
I think you're just gonna open that up to people coming to work when they shouldn't. Because they're not gonna wanna use their annual leave. I get it. I mean, I've sat at home twice in the last year for over 10 days. But, I mean, I don't think we should make them use all their exhaust all their annual leave too, because then they're just gonna come back to work when they shouldn't be here. And that's what we're trying to do, is keep people away from work that shouldn't be here. It's not to make them run down their leave.
But I think to counter that is, in order for them to be able to utilize the banked sick leave, they're gonna have to prove that they had a positive test or are quarantined by Department of Health. So are they gonna not come to work, or are they gonna come to work, not get tested, and just not use any of their own leave? Is that what you're saying?
I know, I think they should have to take their sick leave,
But not the vacation.
but not their annual.
But I think the other thing too, Troy, is that if we're talking about employees that have been here a short period, they're full-time employees, but they've
Right.
been here a short period of time, so they probably don't have a lot of vacation time
Well, that's
added up either.
kind of what I'm getting at too.
So if you're looking to modify this policy for donating sick leave to another employee, I guess I wouldn't think that, they might only have 2 days of vacation time built up or 3 days of vacation time built up. They probably don't have a lot.
Right, but I still think it's gonna cause some of them probably, or has the potential anyway, to have them come to work when they shouldn't be here. I mean, that's what this is about. This is about,
No, I know what you're saying, but I'm just looking at it from somebody that's been here for 20 years or
Right.
15 years, and they've got weeks of sick leave and they've got weeks of vacation time built up. If I'm gonna donate to this guy that's been here for a year and a half or whatever, if I'm gonna donate, I would think that I'd want him to use up his vacation time, or that person to use up their vacation time before I'm gonna say, all right, I'm gonna give you some of my time. That's kind of the way I look at it too. I mean,
I would agree under any other circumstance with this one. 100%.
all right. Well, we got a motion, so
No further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay?
I didn't go.
Did you vote?
Did you vote? Did you vote? Troy voted?
I was muted, I voted in favor.
I think given the outbreak right now, maybe it's worth, Elaine, drafting up some sort of revised policy. Because if this comes up, we might want to have something that addresses some of the concerns that were brought up to put into place, please.
Nathan,
Yes, sir.
this is not something that you can bring to an open meeting and 7 of us can sit there and discuss it and hash it all out. A proposal needs to be brought to the council and we either approve it or not.
That's what I just said.
I know, and that, I just want to reiterate that. We can't sit here and hash this over for an hour.
That's what I was, I see the merit in it, I understand what you're saying, totally. But I think this is something maybe we need to have city administrator and finance office come up with, for instance, a COVID leave policy that sunsets December 31st, 2021, that maybe trumps, is that something that we could do, Tom? Like supersedes the normal policy that the council could consider?
Yep.
You bet. Next item, city administrator, got a series of items.
All right. First one we'll start with is the shared equipment use policy. This came up after we had some issues with snow removal and the use of equipment. I can go through it line by line, but if you guys have a chance to read that, it basically is talked about what we talked and how we're implementing it. It's been run by all of the department heads. We're already using it, but we'd like to get this motion to approve the shared use policy going forward. So that's what I'm looking for right now. If you want to discuss it any further, we can do that. But
is there a motion to approve the shared equipment use policy?
Motion to approve the shared use policy.
Motion by Tiedemann and seconded to approve the shared equipment use policy. Any further discussion?
I just got one question. What page is that?
Page 6.
Basically, what it says is if somebody needs to use something, they all can use stuff.
Right, as long as they're able and licensed to use it, right?
Training, you know.
Yep, okay.
no, that's fine. All that.
That's fine.
No further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Lewis and Clark Water final true up.
We talked about this last year quite a bit, and our true up last year was $113,224.43. They do re-index once a year, and our new amount would be $113,826.72. So it costs us another $602.28 to pay it off. And of course, we are budgeting, I believe, $30,000 to pay it off a little bit each year. If we have a good year like we did this past year with water usage, we may be able to pay it off a lot faster. So that's kind of just information for you going forward. So we'll keep you updated every year where we're at and how much is still owed. So no motions, no nothing. It's just information only. And the next item we had there was Clay Regional Water System update. Clay was looking at a lot of different options there to secure water, and one of those was shoot through Sheldon to purchase some water guaranteed from them. They were also working with some of the smaller cities that are members of Lewis and Clark. It looks like with this most recent update here, Clay is now looking at their own treatment plant down the road. So we're still in it on the wheeling. We've got an agreement we charge them 5 cents per 1,000 to wheel. If we wheel 300,000 gallons a day through our meter down here, it amounts to $15 a day or $5,475 a year. So we're still on that. I think we all agree that the water is a resource that we think will probably be more valuable as we go forward. So we are still, we've indicated to them that we would take the extra allotment when it becomes available. So again, just more information so we can, if someone asks you about what's happening, we're still wheeling. Probably not going to be selling water if they build their own treatment plant down the road, but that's going to take some time to get that done. So again, just more information. And the final item I had was just the South Dakota Municipal League district meetings. Some of you have went to them. Where we sit down, we got a meal, they talk about what's happened out with the state legislature, do the election of officers, things like that. Of course, this year everything's going virtual, so if you're interested in taking part there, everyone would need to register so that she can send you the Zoom login information. So if you want the information, just let me know, and I will share your whatever email you want sent to you so you can do a Zoom meeting. We are District 3, so our meeting would be on March 18th at 5:30. So And if you don't want to do that one, you can go to any of the other meetings if you so chose. But the only thing different probably be the election of officers, because obviously each district has different people that would be interested in fulfilling those roles. We have 1 week prior to the meetings to register, so we've got a little bit of time. Even if you want to let me know at the next meeting if you want to participate, that's fine. So just think about it.
Is that something we would do as a group, like meet here and do it, or do it from home, or how do you
Probably
do
just
it?
do it from home if you want to. Yeah. Typically, when Art usually goes and I go, and Elaine would probably go, and 1 or 2 others would go usually. So, and if you don't get it, all the information will be brought forward to us at a different time anyhow. So,
Okay.
so anyhow, that's it. That's about all I got right now.
Old business, value of a trailer.
At the last meeting, you guys decided this, we would surplus it that we didn't have. We're just trying to set the value of that.
Right, and they sold it for, how much?
150?
125? Gerald and I talked today and we did extensive research on this subject. And we see the value of that trailer to be about $125.
What a job, good job.
So we need to make a motion to set that or not? I'll move to set the value of the 4x8 trailer that the Beresford Volunteer Fire Department has in their possession at $125.
Dwayne, a second.
Motion by Bruin, seconded to set the value of the 4x8 trailer at $125. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
1 nay. Motion passes. New business, resolution 2021-02.
Do I need to make a motion first before we discuss it?
Yeah.
We make a motion for resolution 2021-02 to
You
see.
can put the
Yep,
amounts
I'm
in.
gonna put the numbers in. The mayor shall receive an annual salary of $4,400, and city council members shall receive an annual salary of $3,700.
Shot second.
Motion by Deline and seconded by Schott to consider resolution 2021 with the mayor's salary set at $4,400 and the council member's salary set at $3,700. Any further discussion? What is it now?
Currently, the council is $3,300 annually, and the mayor is $3,900.
No discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2021-02 passes.
Can I throw out one more thing, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
So looking over the numbers that the city administrator and the finance officer gave us for all current, well, prior to this year's pay increases, I did note that the planning and zoning board, do you know, Jerry, when the last time they were considered?
Well, it's been a long time ago, they're $50. I think what we did though, even if they don't show up now, they get paid for the work that they're doing throughout the, if they don't make the meeting for some reason. It used to be they only got paid if they attended the meeting, so.
Well, I guess I was just gonna throw that out, that maybe we should bring that to the next meeting and just talk about it. Cause I'm looking at them as, I don't know when the last time they got a pay increase, board maybe should be considered.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you.
That's all I have to say, thank you.
So they get 50 right per meeting now? And how many meetings do they have a year?
Oh, probably 10.
Okay.
We cancel some this time of the year because we don't have any. Things that need any action, but 10 to 12 usually.
Okay.
There's probably one special meeting or two sometimes.
2021 street sweeping contract.
This was brought to us this time every year, and this is gonna be the same as last year. We went a little bit over hours. I believe Jeff told me today we have 54 hours, and they're paying us for 54 hours of contract, so it's an estimate of quantities and costs. So they estimate 50 hours and $100 an hour for us to sweep Highway 46. So we just need a motion to approve that, and we'll get that back to the DOT so they can put that in their file.
Shall make a motion for 2021 street sweeping contract with the state of South Dakota for South Dakota Highway 46 as stated for 50 hours, $100 per hour, which is around 5,000 if we stay with the hours.
Motion by Schott, seconded to approve the 2021 street sweeping contract with the South Dakota Department of Transportation. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Step pay increase for Jason Strand from $16.43 to $16.88 per hour. Is there a motion to approve the step pay increase?
Shall make a motion for step pay increase to remove probationary status from Jason Strand, Bridges Golf Course and Street Water Sewer Department.
Golden second.
Motion by Schott and seconded to approve the step pay increase and remove the probationary status of Jason Strand. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Next one, James Byrne, Street Water Sewer Department. Step pay increase from $21.68 to $22.25. Is there a motion to approve?
Billy moves to approve that step pay for James Byrne from $22.25 per hour.
Motion by Delaney and seconded to approve the step pay increase for James Byrne. We have $22.25 per hour. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the subsidy drawdown for the PRCE in the amount of $27,500?
Shall make a motion for subsidy drawdown request for Beresford Park and Recreation Community Education as stated $27,500.
Second.
Motion by Schott and seconded to approve the municipal subsidy drawdown request to Beresford PRCE in the amount of $27,500. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Drawdown is approved. There's another drawdown request from the Beresford Baseball Softball Association. What's the amount? $10,000. Is there a motion to approve the Baseball Softball Association drawdown in the amount of $10,000?
We gotta make a motion before you can discuss it. I'll wait for the motion.
So I can make a motion to approve Baseball Softball Association drawdown of $10,000.
Billy in a second.
Motion by Spagan and seconded to consider the municipal subsidy drawdown request to Beresford Baseball Softball Association in the amount of $10,000. Any further discussion?
I'd like to make a comment. As we talked about the culvert last year, we only did part of it. I was just wondering, is it maybe a good idea to wait to see, make sure we're gonna do the baseball play-in? Maybe wait another month or two, or you think it's gonna go full speed ahead? That's just my question.
That's a good point, I don't know.
Well, they just spent $114,000. We should probably give them.
Well, I'm just saying, my question, however you want to throw that out.
Well, they played last year, right?
Yeah, they did.
Some programs.
I mean, I know given what's going on at our school right now, however, the way outdoor sports came back last summer, and I know even kids events right now, like dance competitions, cheer competitions, indoor wrestling, stuff like that is going on. I feel like baseball is gonna go next year.
Well, baseball will happen. My question is why do they need this drawdown request this early in the year when baseball doesn't start till April?
That was my question, Troy. Good point, thanks.
I
This is
think
the
it's,
only-
I think it's just Scott wanting to put both of them in together. You can make them wait, I don't care.
I mean, we didn't put a time frame on when they could do it. It was for the fiscal year. If they wanna do it at the beginning, they can, or the end, they can, I guess, my opinion.
I think they're actually gonna also need some of this money for the down payment on the turf. He said tonight he have to have 50% down for them to order it.
I thought this was for coaches.
That's what I thought.
It all goes into the same checking account, whether it's paid for coaches or paid for expenses.
How would it be legally? If you say we're gonna give the coaches, does it
It
have to go
doesn't
for
say in
coaches,
there
or
that it's
it
for
can be used for
coaches.
either or?
I mean, it's always been designated that that's what they need the money for.
And they'll still have the coaches' expenses this year.
They won't get the registrations, and some of that money doesn't come in until a little later. So if they're, I mean, I have no idea what they're.
Looks like last year they paid about $9,600 for coaches and umpires.
I just looked at our accounts payable and we have never paid them this early into the season. It's the earliest we have was the end of March.
Any further discussion?
They do have, they gave us financials, they've got 50,000 sitting in the bank just for baseball, softball. My thought is that he's just trying to do both requests at the same time.
Where did you see that, Teresa?
If you go back to the financial statements that are right after the PRCE request sheet for 27.5.
Oh,
balance
you're looking at there, okay.
And
Cause I didn't see, when I was looking at their, not just their financial.
The baseball one that he gave us is just income and expenses for baseball, but the baseball checking account is listed on the overall PRCE balance sheet.
Okay.
So they do have money.
They do, yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the subsidy drawdown in the amount of $10,000, say aye.
Aye.
Right?
Opposed? Passes. Discussion item, President's Day holiday is the 15th of February. Moving the next council meeting to the 16th Tuesday. Any other things, Jerry?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve Mike Hanson attending the SDMEA board meeting in Pier?
Doden moves to approve the travel request.
Second.
Motion by Doden and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to authorize payment of the bills?
Doden moves to pay the bill.
Second.
Motion by Doden and seconded to authorize payment of the bills. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Is there a personnel thing, Jerry?
Yeah.
Is there a motion to enter into executive session for personnel?
Motion to move into executive session for personnel.
Motion by Tiedemann, seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Executive session.